Hey, today we're going to go to Walla Walla, Washington, and we're going to go to Frenchtown, and we're going to go to L'École number 41. L'École number 41 is, that's French, of course, for all you folks who already know. L'École means school. And the cool thing about this winery is it's an old school that was built back in 1915, and it's been converted into a winery, and it is super cool. And what's even more super cool is they make terrific wine. So we're going to go there. This is one of my favorite stops along the Stroopwaffle, and you're going to love it too. So come on, let's go. Today, we're in Walla Walla, Washington, and we're going to Frenchtown, Washington. We're going to go to L'École number 41. Meagan and Marty Clubb were married in 1982, and L'École number 41's first harvest was the next year, and they've owned it ever since. Marty assumed the operation of the winery from Meagan's parents, Jean and Baker Ferguson, in 1989, 6 years after the winery's founding. In addition, Marty is managing partner with Gary and Chris Figgins, Leonetti Cellar, and Norm McKibben, Pepperbridge Winery, in the highly acclaimed Seven Hills Vineyard and the Seven Vineyard Development, home to L'École's newest estate vineyard, Ferguson. Marty remains the managing winemaker, but day-to-day operations are with Marcus Rafanelli. Marcus Rafanelli is the winemaker. He's a Seattle native. He graduated in 2008 from the Walla Walla Community College Institute for Enology and Viticulture program and holds a BS in biology from Boise State University. While at WWCC, he worked the harvest at L'École number 41. He worked at wineries in Woodinville as well as in wineries in Australia and Germany before returning to teach in 2016. L'École number 41's vineyards include the Estate Ferguson Vineyard and the Estate Seven Hills Vineyard. They also source fruit from Pepperbridge Vineyard and other vineyards from Walla Walla and Columbia Valley. L'École number 41 is French for school number 41. The winery is based at the historic Frenchtown Schoolhouse. The original school was a log cabin built in 1870. It was rebuilt in 1915 at the present location of the winery. The Frenchtown name is derived from the many French Canadians who settled in Walla Walla Valley during the 1800s. Vestiges of the old schoolhouse have been preserved throughout the building and especially in the tasting room. Books original to the schoolhouse have also been preserved and share spaces with the wine bottles. There's a large, beautiful lawn out back and a gorgeous deck for outdoor tastings. L'École number 41 Chardonnay, Evergreen Vineyard, Ancient Lakes, Columbia Valley. Evergreen Vineyard is a high-elevation, cool climate site. This single vineyard Chardonnay explodes with Bosc pear, fresh-cut apple, acacia flowers with hints of lychee and citrus. Key lime and white peach are part of the tasting experience. Great minerality, fantastic finish. I love the pear and the apple certainly linger on. Great acidity. L'École number 41 Semillon, Columbia Valley. I love Semillon. I love the richness and complexity. Super complex nose, bright with orange blossoms, honeysuckle, melon, but there's also hints of lemongrass, sweet pear, and again with a nice key lime finish, hints of fresh fig in there too. Absolutely loved this Semillon. L'École number 41 Luminescence, Estate Seven Hills Vineyard, Walla Walla Valley. This is a 50-50 blend of Semillon and Sauvignon Blanc. 60% of the fruit was picked in the first 2 weeks of October. The grapes were harvested in the cool early morning hours and immediately whole cluster pressed to tank and allowed to settle. The juice was then racked to neutral French oak barrels where it was aged sur lie for 4 months and completed its primary fermentation. It was then transferred to stainless steel tank for finishing. I loved this wine as well. It had the richness of the Semillon and the vitality of the Sauvignon Blanc. Aromatic, great acidity, tremendous balance and complexity. One of my absolute favorite wines of the tasting. L'Ecole Estate Syrah, Seven Hills Vineyard, Walla Walla Valley. The vineyard for this was planted in 1981. That's just a great start right there. The fruit was picked by hand. Each vineyard block was picked individually by hand. About 20% of the fruit was fermented whole cluster on stems, while the remainder was crushed and all put in a steel fermenter. The wine was hand punched. The wine was then cleanly racked into small oak barrels, 40% new and 4 rackings over 18 months. Now, I'm a sucker for Syrah, so my thoughts are completely biased. Big notes of blueberry, blackberry, dark plum, and a nose full of violets. Hints of cocoa and earth and spice, the slightest bit of cassis, solid tannins. This is a great Syrah. While I was there, the staff was getting ready for harvest season to begin. Always an exciting time. L'Ecole Apogee, Pepperbridge Vineyard, Walla Walla Valley. L'Ecole number 41 has been making Pepperbridge Vineyard Apogee since 1993. It's a Bordeaux-styled blend of 65% Cabernet Sauvignon, 18% Merlot, 14% Malbec, and 3% Cabernet Franc. Each lot was hand harvested and crushed into 1.5 stainless steel fermenters. Hand punched down, the wine was racked to a 100% small French oak barrels, 50% new, with 4 rackings over 22 months. This is a dark, inky wine. Black cherry leads off the parade on the nose, followed by dark chocolate and a floral note. Blackberry, dark cherry, and cassis strike on the palate with a hint of earthiness and a tremendous tannin. It's great acidity, superstructure, well-balanced, an absolute winner. Next was the L'Ecole Merlot, but I'm going to let tasting room associate John Marone tell you all about it.
Hi there, my name is John Moreau, and I'm going to be pouring some L'Ecole wine here at L'Ecole number 41 Winery in Walla Walla, Washington. This is our estate Merlot, comes from our 2 estate vineyards here in Walla Walla. We blend in 50% of the grapes from Seven Hills Vineyard, 50% of the grapes from Ferguson. So this one is a bit of a blend itself. It's 79% Merlot, 17 Cab Franc, 4% Cab Sauv, so a bit of Cab in there. Really gives it a strong finish. And we blend the vineyards for 2 reasons. So Seven Hills gives you this really nice fruit-forward characteristic that we like to add to this Merlot. And then we blend in some fruit from Ferguson. And Ferguson's higher elevation, very high wind where it's sitting in the valley. It also gets some of the highest concentration of fractured basalt rock in its soil. So the vines are growing down in between the cracks in the ancient lava flow rock. So you get a ton of minerality and intensity out of the wine. So that's why we like to split the 2. So you get the fruit from Seven Hills and the minerality and intensity from Ferguson. So
this was a beautiful old world Merlot. Great structure, great balance, a stew of dark berries with notes of cedar and violets and cocoa. The black fruit continued on the palate. Lovely black pepper finish. Elegant, complex, sophisticated, and impressive Merlot. I had a great time, but I was off to the next tasting. As I left, I give a quick ring to the bell before I left. Please don't tell Marty. Well, I hope you liked that. Meagan and Marty Clubb do a great job with the winery, and Marcus's wines are terrific, and a big shout out to Mr. Marone there for helping me out. It was a great visit. I'm telling you, the wines were spectacular. One of my favorite stops along the entire Stroopwaffle. You're going to have a great time. You got to try their wines. L'Ecole number 41. Great stuff. Well, we'll see you next time.
Well, that's it for this edition of the Great American Winery Stroopwaffle. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you'll come back soon. And in the meantime, drink local.